In our continuing coverage of the Valley's housing crisis, first-time homebuyers have plenty of barriers to overcome. The numbers, if you take a look, can be daunting. Take a look at the average price for a home here in Southern Nevada. $428,000. That makes Southern Nevada one of the least affordable metropolitan areas in the country. Only 18% of homes are affordable for a family of four. Now, the median annual income required to buy a home, $99,000 a year. There are also plenty of barriers to getting more homes built. Across Southern Nevada, plenty of the land is federally owned. It's off limits until the feds release it. But in other areas, before anything gets built, the feds may have to weigh in on environmental impacts. That's why home builders and environmental groups are eyeing two cases now before the U.S. Supreme Court. In Southern Nevada, builders can't build fast enough to meet the Valley's overwhelming demand for housing and affordable housing. Now home builders are looking at how two obscure Supreme Court cases impacting development and construction could possibly affect building homes and the timelines. They are San Francisco versus EPA and Seven County Infrastructure Coalition versus Eagle County, Colorado. In both cases, justices will review how exactly the feds regulate environmental protections, issue mandates, and analyze the long-term impact on the environment. Construction insiders across the Valley tell Fox 5 in rural or undeveloped areas, developers on private land may still need input from the feds when a project encroaches on the habitat of federally protected endangered species, like the endangered desert tortoise. Environmental advocates say the feds may also weigh in if a project could impact your drinking water.
And if we let developers run roughshod over the habitat the species uses to survive, that's unacceptable. Having clean air, clean water, and a healthy environment.
In the Eagle County case, the Center for Biological Diversity argues the feds should review the widespread impact that a rail line could have on the entire Colorado River system, which feeds into Lake Mead. But the National Association of Home Builders explains concerns to Fox 5. Federal reviews could have no boundaries, which means no clear stopping point. Both these cases have the potential to add uncertainty to the development process, and uncertainty translates to added time and money. And the Supreme Court is expected to rule on both cases this session. For more details on each of them, head to the story on our website, fox5vegas.com.